All right, so now there's one more thing I want us to implement before we start working on the product section or the product functionality. And that is the fact that sometimes there are some websites you visit, and maybe when your session on that website has expired, when you open the website, it just logs you, it just redirects you to the login page. So an example of that is MongoDB. So every time I visit MongoDB, I think they have a 24-hour login cookie setting. So after 24 hours, if I visit MongoDB, when the page loads, it immediately redirects me to the login page. So I don't know if that's going to happen now, but let me just wait and see. Aha, so you see, it actually happened now. It has redirected me back to the login page. And that's because their cookie expires every 24 hours. So if you're logged in after 24 hours, the cookie is going to expire and you will need to log in again. So we can implement that also in our application, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. So let's come back here, and I'm going to come here. This time we're going to create a custom hook. So making things interesting in our project. So let me close this component, and it's going to be inside our source folder. I'll come here and create a new folder, and I'll call that folder custom hook. So let me just be sure. So I'll just come here and new folder. Aha, so custom hook. And then inside of this folder, I will create a file. Okay, I'll create a file. And basically, what do I want this hook to do? I want it to redirect logged out user to a specific page, right? So when you want to create a hook in React, you just need to add use in front of them, a custom hook, by the way. So here I'll say use redirect logged out uh logged out user. So user user, yeah, .js. It's a very long name, but I mean, I was just trying to be descriptive about what the hook does. So it redirects logged out user to whatever path or whatever page you want. So I'm just going to come down here and I'll create an arrow function like this. Let me tab that. Oh no, I want to use my shortcut here, Control Z, and let's create an arrow function. So Visual Studio Code is kind of lagging today. Anyway, I think I'll just create it myself. So const, and the name of the function is going to be the same name for the file. So I'll say use redirect logged out user, and that's going to be equal to, let's open this up. Oh, Visual Studio Code, like I think my system is actually just hanging. I don't know, because I type and then it delays for some seconds before it shows. So let me just see if there's something I can do about that first. Alright, so I closed my video editing software. Let's see if we've recovered from the lag. RAFCE. Aha, so I think it has picked up a bit. So we're gonna get rid of this return statement here because we don't really need any return statements here. So basically what we want this custom hook to do is to redirect a user that is logged out to a specific path. So what that means is that I'm going to give this function a parameter, a path parameter, so that whenever we call it or whenever we use this hook, we'll be able to specify exactly where we want to redirect the user to. Okay, so now inside of this function, I'm going to add a use effect. I'm going to create a use effect here. So use effect, because I want it to run once. So let me just write the syntax. Aha, so let's also import use effect from React. Okay, it has already been imported. Great. So now in this use effect, there are some things we're going to need. Let me just import them too, so that will save time. So we're going to need our use dispatch, because we're going to be interacting with the Redux state. So use dispatch from Redux. Then I'm also going to need use navigate, so that I can navigate to any specific page I want. Then also I want to be able to get the login status of the user. So get login status, and that's coming from auth service, remember. Then also I want to be able to set the login state. So set underscore login. So these are the things that I need. Then also I will need the toast. So that's the one I've not been able to import since I started working on this project. Toast, it has not been auto importing, and I honestly don't know why. Anyway, let me just bring it in from somewhere here. So I'll just import toast. So I'll need all of these things you see here. So let's start with the use effect. Now basically inside this use effect, I'm going to create a function, and it's just going to be an asynchronous arrow function, because remember we're going to make our call to the database asynchronous. And then I'll call this function redirect logged out user. So redirect logged out user. Now let's open up the function, and in this function I want to, first of all, we execute the function to get the login status. So here I will say const, I'll just call this function is logged in, and this is very similar to what we did in the home page. Okay, so it's logged in, that's going to be equal to await await, and then I'll just say get login status, which is a function. And remember, this function is going to return true or false based on whether the user is logged in or not. All right, so and that result is going to be stored inside this is logged in variable. So now I will now dispatch oh, I've not created the dispatch function, so let me just the dispatch variable. So I'll just create the dispatch variable here. You know what, I'll just bring it in, because I mean it's something I've done hundreds, maybe not hundreds, but a number of time, a good number of times. So I'll bring in the dispatch and the navigate variable. Okay, so here I'm just going to dispatch the set login function. So I'll say set underscore login, and I'll send it with my is logged in parameter. So is logged in. Great. So after you've done that, then I want to now have an if statement that will do something based on whether the user is logged in or not. So here I'll say if, and then I want to check if the user is logged out. So if not is logged in is equal to, then I'll open that up. So when the user is not logged in, what do we want to do? Well, first off, I want to throw a notification. So I'll say toast dot info, because it's not an error technically, it's just an information. So toast.info, and I'll just say that the session expired. So here I'll say session expired, and then if they want to continue, they should please log in to continue. So please log in to continue, like so. All right, you need to be very polite with your users. So now the next thing is I'll navigate to the specific path that I want to. So in this case, I'll just say navigate, and then I'll just pass my path parameter. So you see here we added the parameter here, path. So here I'll just say path. Okay, so after we've navigated, then I want to cancel out of the process. So here I'll just say return. All right, okay, now we're making progress. I'll now, next thing to do now is to come outside of this function and call it. So remember, we created this function inside this use effect, but we've not called it. So I'll just come outside here of the function, and then I'll call the function. Right, so but don't forget that this is our use effects. We need to have the dependencies. So here we just add the navigate, then we have the path, then lastly dispatch, and that will just get rid of that yellow line. So as it is now, you see this small hook we've created, we can use it anywhere to check whether a user is logged in or not, and redirect the user to anywhere we want, to any page we want. So for example now, what I'll do is I'll apply this in my dashboard page. So let's go to the dashboard. So I'll just say Control P and dashboard. So now in this dashboard page, let me just bring in the, what's the name again, use redirect. So this is it. So use redirect logged out users. So technically I'm saying that if a user is logged out, then redirect them to /. In this case, I'll just redirect them back to the login page. All right, so now let's go ahead and save, and then it's time to test. So I will come here. You see here I'm currently logged in, so if I go to the dashboard page, I shouldn't be redirected. Let me refresh this page just to make sure that I'm logged in. So I'll head over to the dashboard page, and you see here we just have the dashboard page displaying nicely. But what we can do is I'm going to come here to this page here, and I'll try to log out. So I'll go to the dashboard here, and then I'll log out. So now technically I'm logged out from this browser. Let's come back here to this page here, and then I'll just try to refresh it. If you refresh this page, just watch what happens. So you see the page refreshes and I get this notification, session expired, please log in to continue. And don't be alarmed that I got the notification twice. In React version 18 this feature was introduced into use effect such that it fires off your actions twice, kind of. But when you launch your application in production, you're not going to get anything like that. So that's about it for the function to redirect logged out users from any application you want, from any page you want. All right, so see you in the next one.